What's up, fellas and lady fellows? We're back once again, this time to power rank the 22 teams heading to the Orlando bubble for the NBA, the remainder of that season. There's 22 teams going, 16 of them will make the playoffs, and then we'll get rolling from there. My name is CJ Vogel. I'm the head of Sports Update on Instagram. Follow us at sports_update on Instagram. Come join the community that's grown to over 130,000 people. Welcome to the YouTube channel. We're diving in right now. All right, we're going to start with the San Antonio Spurs. They come in at 22 out of the 22 teams. They just lost LaMarcus Aldridge out for the remainder of the year. There's not a whole lot going on with that team right now. I know with Greg Popovich, you can never count them out. But right now, they just don't have a whole lot, going for them in their trajectory. This will be a great time for guys like DeJounte Murray, Lonnie Walker, kind of get more experience and like a winner-go-home kind of situation down in Orlando. But just right now, I don't see a whole lot of positive momentum for them. They're in at 22. Coming in at number 21 is the Washington Wizards. Right now, they're the last place team that made the trip to Orlando in the Eastern Conference. Everybody knows the Wizards, score a ton of points. They got Bradley Beal scoring over 30 a game. They also give up a lot of points. They're 29th in defensive rebounding, and they're 30th in defensive rating. They've got a whole lot more issues than scoring, putting the ball in the bucket, and for that reason, there's not a whole lot to look out for them in Orlando. I got them at 21. Coming in at number 20 is the Phoenix Suns. I love watching Devin Booker, and I really do enjoy watching Kelly Oubre. But the Suns are, a piece or two or three or four away from, really putting things together. Let's see, DeAndre Ayton. I know he missed a couple games here and there throughout the season. Believe it or not, without DeAndre Ayton, the Suns have a better record. There's not a whole lot there. The hole they have to climb out of to get into the playoffs is going to be pretty difficult, and they're just not there yet. I know things are looking kind of bright with Aaron Baines and Ricky Rubio, some of these key, role players teams need to be successful, just not this year. All right, coming in at number 19 is the Orlando Magic. You should think the Magic have home court advantage with everybody coming to their city in Orlando, but it's not going to matter with no one there. Basically, if you get a lead on the Magic at any time in the game, you should feel pretty confident about your chances of winning. The Magic are 26th in the NBA in pace, and they're 22 in true shooting. Basically means if you can build a lead up on the Magic, you're going to feel pretty good about your chances of closing that game out. And so the Kings come in at number 18. I like watching the Kings. I think De'Aaron Fox is electric, very fun to watch. But for some reason, there's just something about that team that doesn't gel all the way through like they should. Every time I watch them, I feel like they got 5 of the exact same players on the court at the same time. They're just missing a couple pieces. Buddy Hield, coming off the bench, ever since he did that, he's been, cooking for them. It's just too little too late. The Kings will make the playoffs next year. I'm putting that down. Write that down. Take it to the bank. Cash your ticket later. Thank me. Coming in at 17 is the Brooklyn Nets. They won't have Kevin Durant. Kyrie's not going to play either. But I feel like that could be a positive. Brooklyn has a better winning percentage with Kyrie off the court than on. It gives Karis LeVert, Spencer Dinwiddie a chance to gel better. The ball moves around a bit more with Kyrie off the court. But the one problem Brooklyn has is closing games out, and I do think that's where Kyrie's absence comes into play. Brooklyn is second worst in the NBA in terms of fourth quarter scoring margin. That's huge in winner-go-home type games. And Brooklyn, for that reason, I'm not very confident things will go well for you in Orlando. Coming in at 16, of course, is Portland. I feel bad for Damian Lillard this year. All he's done is put the team on his back, and, you can't do much when the whole team's in the back of an ambulance heading to the hospital with an injury. It's been a tough year for Damian Lillard, who's basically had to put the whole team on his back. You can't hide the injuries and how that team's just been riddled with them throughout the entire season. The thing with Dame, he himself, before this quarantine pause to the season came out, he was battling with some injuries as well when he came back. He only played 4 games. Wasn't shooting very well, only 20 points per game on 40% shooting. And that kind of, drove the Blazers, out of contention for that 8th seed in the West. It looked like they were going to make a push. I'm not very confident they're going to recover. Coming in at 15 is the Memphis Grizzlies, and I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on them. I will say Ja Morant, the future Rookie of the Year for this year, if it ever returns, is very fun to watch. I love Ja Morant. He's going to be electric the rest of the year, the rest of his career. But the thing with Memphis, if you look at any meaningful stat, across the board, that team is incredibly mediocre, and it's tough to find something that they can excel at and use to their advantage in a win-or-go-home type situation like Orlando. Okay, now this is a team that I really, really do enjoy watching, and it's the New Orleans Pelicans. They're, kind of in the same realm as the Washington Wizards, where they score a whole lot of points and they give up a whole lot of points, just that they do it a little bit better. It looked like the Pelicans were really finding their groove once Zion entered the frame in the starting lineup, averaging 24 points a game, 7 boards on 60%. Can't ask for much more from a rookie in his first 20 games or something like that. Not to mention Brandon Ingram's been stroking the ball. Lonzo's finding a stroke, and J.J. Redick's also on the corner as well, waiting to just splash any three that comes his way. The Pelicans are a team that score a whole lot of points. They're fourth in the league in shooting the three ball. They shoot it the fifth most times. So the volume adds up with the efficiency. And with that said, that's a deadly combination in a win-or-go-home. The Pacers come in at number 13. That might seem a little low considering where expectations were prior to the Oladipo injury last year. But here we are now. The bright news is the Pacers did seem to look like they were finding their groove with Oladipo back in the starting lineup. The last 7 games, I want to say the Pacers were 6-1. So it looks like things were starting to turn the corner right there. I am hopeful that the conditioning stays at a competitive level post quarantine for the Pacers and Oladipo. I'm just not certain that they have everything ready this season to make a big run in the playoffs. The Philadelphia 76ers come in at number 12, which may seem a little low considering the talent they have on their lineup, but things just haven't really clicked outside of their arena in Philadelphia. For that reason, I'm not too confident in them being away from home. They're 29-2 at home this year, which is the best mark in the league. Unfortunately, for the remainder of the year, they won't be able to go back to Philly and play in front of that Philly faithful. At number 11 is the Utah Jazz, and you might be thinking, hey, CJ, the Jazz are number 4 in the West right now. I understand, but hear me out. I'm not huge on the Jazz in terms of, Donovan Mitchell in the playoffs, Rudy Gobert in the playoffs. Donovan Mitchell, of course, last year shot 32% against the Rockets. And, of course, Rudy Gobert offensively in crunch time just becomes a huge liability, a literal huge liability. Luckily for Utah, Jordan Clarkson off the bench has looked phenomenal. He provides a little much-needed spark that the Jazz need. And if he can, maintain that in Orlando, things could get, very intriguing for the Jazz and Jazz fans. At number 10 is the Dallas Mavericks. And of course, you think Luka Doncic with the Mavericks, but it goes much further than that for the Mavs. The Mavs shoot a ton of threes, and as a result, they have the most efficient offense the NBA has ever seen. Again, the most efficient offense the NBA has ever seen. Guys like Maxi Kleber, Dorian Finney-Smith, Tim Hardaway Jr., J.J. Barea, and of course Seth Curry. All of them shoot over 37%, and that is a reason why I think the Mavs could make a run in the playoffs, given, favorable matchups every now and then. But because they can shoot and shoot so well, they can hang with anybody. And here's the shocker of the video. I got the Houston Rockets at number 9, and here's the reason why. Of course, you're going to look at the Rockets and you're going to say, hey, how are they number 9? They got James Harden, they got Russell Westbrook. They're the only team with 2 MVPs. But if you look at the 5 games prior to quarantine, the Rockets were 1-4 with losses to the Knicks, the Magic, and the Hornets. Those are 3 very bad losses, and the team did not look good doing so. You got Harden and Westbrook both playing 40 minutes a game. D'Antoni's tiring people out. So hopefully when they come back from this long break, legs are fresh. They can get back in the gym, start running teams up and score again. But the Rockets just didn't look themselves. Harden was not shooting very well. And one other thing that goes against Houston, in the 17 games since they implemented the small ball lineup, they've been out-rebounded in 15 of those games. And so, in a playoff situation, where extra possessions are super critical, being out-rebounded and allowing teams to get extra shots, extra possessions, that's super detrimental to your team's success. Rockets at number 9. Perhaps the hottest team heading into quarantine, the Thunder were 12-4 in their last 16 games before the basketball stopped. I think they carried that on. And if you look at that team, SGA offsets CP3 very well. And if you always need, a bucket, just give it to Gallo. Gallo is sick, and he's been one of the most underrated players in the league for years. He's shooting 41% from beyond the arc right now. And he's a guy that, if things aren't going too well with the 2 guards, SGA and Chris Paul, Gallo's a walking bucket by himself. The Thunder have much more pieces than people give them credit for. They're number 8. Coming in number 7 is Miami Heat. I love watching the Heat for one quarter, and that's the first quarter. The Heat are the best team in the first quarter by far. They scored the second most points of any team behind the Mavericks in the first quarter. And if you're a betting man, you always know the secret to winning any bet is hitting Heat spread in that first quarter because they are marvelous. They're also 27-5 at home, and they have the best shooter in the league, in my opinion, this year, with Duncan Robinson shooting 45% on 8+ attempts. That's going to be real tough. Add Tyler Hero coming back, and the additions of Andre Iguodala and Jay Crowder, and the defensive help is there. The scoring's there, the defense is there. Jimmy Butler's also an elite defender as well. That team is real scary, and I would hate to play them in a 7-game series moving forward. Coming in number 6 is the Boston Celtics, and I know you kind of hear the same thing year in and year out. The Celtics being in the, are they in contention? Are they not? Are they going to trade for a superstar? Are they not? They're normally not. But here, I do think the Celtics can make a run in that East, and that's all because of Jason Tatum's emergence over the last month or two. Over the last 10 games before quarantine started, Tatum was averaging 31 points per game on 47% shooting from beyond the arc and 48% shooting from the field. Tatum is entering that elite field. He'll be top 10 by the end of the year next year in terms of overall best players in the league. I love Jason Tatum. And of course, you know all about the supporting cast for the Boston Celtics as well. Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, Gordon Hayward, and of course, Kemba Walker. Anytime you can add Kemba Walker to a list of supporting cast, that team is stacked. And I think the Celtics are primed to make a run in the playoffs this year if and only if Jason Tatum can, keep that play up. I've got the Nuggets coming in at number 5, and if there's any more reason you need to buy Nuggets stock, it's because Jokic is skinny. The big baller from Serbia has been masterful in that offense ever since his slow start at the beginning of the year. The Nuggets are 4th in the league in assists, and it seems like anybody on that team can get you a bucket at any time. Plumlee's been phenomenal cleaning up the offensive board, and Michael Porter Jr. has been awesome for that team. He's been phenomenal in his little stint. Every now and then he'll show glimpses of being, exactly what he was hyped up to be heading into his injury. I believe he could be, what sets the Nuggets apart from many teams in the West. But there is one situation that I see that could, hurt the Nuggets in close games, and that's free throw shooting. They don't get to the line very often. They're 27th in attempts in the league. That's a problem. Coming in number 4 is the Toronto Raptors, the reigning champs.
I want my chips with the dip. That's all I know. I don't want my chips plain. I want my chips with the dip. So bring them dip.
Of course, they don't have Kawhi this year, but look at them. They're still the 2nd seed in the East. And Pascal Siakam's really turned it on and become a household name, really. Believe it or not, the Raptors are 1st in the league in fast break points, so they can steal points away from teams just like that, and it's a game changer for them. Not to mention Kyle Lowry's out there taking charges left and right. No matter the situation, it could be an all-star game, it could be Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Kyle Lowry's going to be out there putting his body on the line, and that's exactly what type of hustle game changers you need for a winning team. At number 3 is the Los Angeles Clippers. We got the Clippers coming in at number 3. Kawhi, Paul George, that team is stacked. There's no need to go into all the pieces they have because it's been so well documented throughout the season. The bench itself could probably win 30 games. Then you add Kawhi, Paul George, and everybody else on that starting lineup. That's a dangerous team. I'm not quite there to put them over the Lakers, but that series is going to be phenomenal. Please, basketball gods, give us that series. We need it. At number 2 is the Milwaukee Bucks. The best team in the league, record-wise, is our number 2 team in the power rankings. The Bucks were a team that lost 4 out of 5 entering the break. Granted, Giannis did get hurt, and he should be 100% healthy following the quarantine. But the craziest stat when looking at the Bucks, their average margin for points in a game is plus 11. That's win or loss. Plus 11. They've lost 12 times, and they still have a plus 11 differential in games. That is crazy. You look around that entire team, Wes Matthews, the Lopez brothers, Middleton. The Bucks are stacked. Any way you look at it, top to bottom on that roster, Wes Matthews, the Lopez brothers, I'd give them 2 right there. Middleton, George Hill, I want to say all across the board, they can all shoot the ball very well, and it just opens the floor up for Giannis, exactly what you need, who will likely be the league's MVP, believe it or not. Crazy to say, I know. And of course, the Los Angeles Lakers come in at number 1. I say this because if you look at, that last weekend right before quarantine hit, they just went in, they beat the Clippers, and they beat the Bucks, and they did so very nicely. You can never count out LeBron James in the playoffs, and you should absolutely know this, especially if you live in Toronto. The Lakers, they have pieces all the way up and down the board. Anthony Davis has been phenomenal this year. And believe it or not, JaVale McGee has been spectacular as well. You don't see it on the box score, but the little things he does, the box outs, the rebounds, just being the menace in the paint on defense as well is something that, many teams can't, live up to. That series head up with the Clippers, I look at JaVale and, that Montrezl Harrell situation, and I kind of favor the Lakers right there simply because Montrezl struggles against bigger bigs, and it also frees up Anthony Davis against Marcus Morris, which is a situation I love. That's why I give the Lakers the nod. LeBron is still the best player in the league in my opinion, and if you put him in a do-or-die situation, he's going to go put up 35, 11, and 10. That's exactly what's going to happen in most of these winner-go-home situations. And then you add on Anthony Davis, another top 10 player as well, and the Lakers just look like the team to beat in my opinion. Of course, these are my power rankings for the 22 teams headed to Orlando for the remainder of the NBA season. Let me know in the comments down below who I was too high on, too low on, what rankings you disagreed with. Tell me why I'm an idiot. I love hearing from y'all on the internet. Tell me why I'm so dumb. It makes my day. So let me know. Also, make sure to like and subscribe. We'll have more videos coming. If there's any specific topic, any ranking, any top 10 y'all want to hear from me about, let me know in the comments down below. Of course, you know where to find us at Sports Update on Instagram, and follow me on Twitter and Instagram as well at CJVogel3. Make sure you use our code SPORTSUPDATE once sports come back for $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. Once again, that code is SPORTSUPDATE, no spaces, no nothing. Get back in the game, get your tickets, and get them cheap.